Welcome everybody to Meet the Polymaker. I am your host, Joel, the same host you've had for 101 episodes, this being 102. Welcome in everybody. We have yet another show with yet another maker in the industry doing some really awesome designs. If you didn't see in the title, Prime Time Designs. I just made up a new name for him. Prime Tower Designs. If you haven't saw his models on MakerWorld and maybe various other repositories, very cool stuff. We'll talk more about that here once we get to meet him a little bit. But if you're new here, we do have a giveaway. Right now, if you type in "I am awesome" in chat, or I'll give you another chance at the end of the show to type it in, that'll enter you in for a chance to win a spool of Polymaker filament. And if you watch the feedback hour, you might have got some hints on some updates to how that will work in the going future-ish, month, 2-3 months, depending where you're located. But you can learn more about that from the feedback hour or the community chat on Tuesday. But we're also here to talk about 3D printing news. Plenty of things to talk about. We've got some awesome prints from our community shared over at discord.polymaker.com on the Show Off Prints channel. So with that all said, let's head right into the hot end headlines. And some of the big news just announced this morning: My Mini Factory has acquired Thingiverse, or as some say, Thingiverse. It's, you know, it's whatever your flavor is, but that's a big deal. Those are two of the largest repository sites, file repositories that we've seen in 3D printing for many years. I know Thingiverse itself started in 2008. So to have these guys combined, what they're doing, My Mini Factory, if you guys haven't visited that site before, or if you don't visit it often, they've got a lot of different stuff. Like before Bamboo started the crowdfunding stuff, they had actually started programs like that. And I know Cinderwing, I think, got a big start on that through My Mini Factory, through their Pioneer program, Frontier program, a lot of different things. So it's going to be really nice to see what they bring to Thingiverse, or maybe they'll keep them kind of two different projects. I'm not sure what the deal is, but we'll find out more about that here in maybe a couple future episodes as we talk to Mateo, one of the founders of My Mini Factory, and we'll get some more details on that coming soon. But really cool thing to see, because Thingiverse, I think for most people, at least for me, has been one of the initial sites that I started downloading from. Printables was starting to become a thing. MakerWorld wasn't a thing when I started. So it's really, we have fond memories of Thingiverse and all the different updates they've had and the not so good UIs they've had. So again, we are going to probably see some pretty cool updates to it. They're really trying to protect creator-driven content from being overrun by AI stuff. So again, there's a lot of work to be done there, but they can really shape on how the other sites hop on board, because these two sites are not small sites. They make a change and it works, it can make a change for the rest of the industry. So we'll stay tuned and see. Next up, we have Harvard making a new method for soft robotics. They have made a rotational multi-material 3D printing method designed specifically for soft robotics. Of course, combining soft formulas like TPU along with your traditionals like nylon or PLA, ABS, whatever the design might have, but it also the full rotational. It's allowed to make different shapes, kind of like a muscle structure. Imagine like a gyroid infill, but without any of the walls and just that curvature. That's going to allow a lot of different flexibilities, a lot of reshaping of 3D prints, especially again for robotics, for the different functions that robotics have to do. I mean, we've seen robotics do lifting, pulling, painting, making food, whatever it might be. So there's a lot of progress this can really make. So we'll see if Harvard is going to lead the way in this, or if they just sell it off to some big company that makes it even bigger. We'll see. And next up, we have our beloved P1P. It is finally being officially discontinued by Bamboo Lab, but no worries if you own one. If you scoop them up now, get them for a really good price. They're a great printer. They really helped move Bamboo into the consumer world. Well, that's where they started, but helped them build that foot that they already had in with the X1C. But what's nice with this is that they are saying, let's see here, firmware updates through 2027, security support through 2029, and spare parts and official service support are promised through 2031. That's a long time for a printer. Of course, some of those parts are interchangeable with the P1S, P2S, not so much. So there's some general compatibility. So of course it makes sense they're gonna have a little bit longer for the parts, but really awesome that they're gonna keep that support there. So it's not just ditching the people that have bought the P1P and said, farewell losers. But they're now steering everybody to go towards their newer P1 series, or P series, because they have the P1S still and the P2S, all great printers. But again, you're not going to be able to find it anymore once all the new stock sells out from all the stores. Next up, for those that are fans of Stranger Things, did you notice in the season 5, so I think the last season of the show, is that they actually use 3D printing quite a bit in it behind the scenes, a lot for what you see in these creepy dolls. And these were for full-scale replicas of actors that were produced for what they call high-risk action scenes. Obviously, you don't want to put somebody in harm's way if you don't have to. It's hard, for shorter people to find a whole lot of stunt people that'll match the physique and everything of all your mini actors. Of course, a lot of action, fight scenes, etc. in Stranger Things. But this allowed them to rapidly iterate complex shapes that would be tough to do traditionally through materials, silicone casting, etc. And of course, if these things are going to be destroyed, they don't want to spend a lot of time and a lot of money into designing them or creating them. So 3D printing to the rescue. It's just showing again how it's becoming more behind the scenes powerhouse for film industry, whether it be TV, movies, or even like Olympics, like we talked about last week when there's stop motion commercial. So really cool to see. And last but not least, we do have a new product. It's not a 3D printer, but it is from Creality, and it is another scanner, which some might say, really, another scanner. This one is a little bit different from their Raptor Pro, the Raptor X, and whatever else they've had since then. This is going to be their first iteration of a fully handheld 3D scanner, similar to that of the RevoPoint Miraco. They had the wireless bridges for like the Raptor and for the Otter and things like that. They gave it a wireless battery and a wireless connection, but it was still tethered. It still had to be tethered to a laptop. This is going to allow you to scan in a 0.1 up to 0.1 millimeter accuracy. Does color geography, all or geometry into it all at once. You can do some editing on the screen, and you can still, of course, upload it to your PC to do a lot more stronger full edits too. But it is consumer slash prosumer in the price, just a little over $3,000. If you're looking to scan 1 or 2 items, I would say there's other options. If you want a really cool all-in-one device and you do a lot of 3D scanning, they're promising scan modes to handle small parts, large objects, and varied surface textures. So we'll have to see once more get out into the hands of creators and see what people are doing with it and what it's actually capable of. So that is it for our news. We're going to head over to Spool to Spotlight to check out what you guys have been sharing over on Discord. And first up, we have CGS Creations sharing their custom Maker chip. So if you're new to Maker chips, they're a fun little kind of handed out thing at events that you can put your logo on, you can put a QR code on, you can put a quote on, you can do kind of whatever you want. That's the whole point of it being custom. But this is really pioneered by K2 Kevin of the Maker chip mania that's washed over all the rep wraps all the way over to Japan. And this is really cool. If you search Maker chip on MakerWorld, there's some tutorial links. There's like custom templates that you can just throw your own logo on or kind of design however you want. Of course, these ones were super clean. And I wanted to mention this because we do have the events are going to start up very soon here with Smurf kicking it off at the second week of March. So if you don't have a Maker chip yet, you can go create one. I'm not sure on Kevin's schedule. He has had some open stages where you can learn some stuff and ask him directly over on our Discord. So head over to discord.polymaker.com, and in the events details, you see a Maker chip open stage. Subscribe to that. If he goes live, you'll get a notification and you can learn some stuff or ask some questions if you've had any issues. And next up, we have Liego Log, who has printed and designed Hot Dog Guy along with Pink Astronaut. Maybe they're Lego, maybe they're Liego, who knows, but they're available. Many of those models are available on MakerWorld. This one's not yet available on his profile, but you can go check out what he does have shared, and eventually this might be available for you to download and print yourself. And next up, you've seen it actually the last couple weeks. Still absolutely love these snakes on the belt printer with the gradients going a completely different direction. These are all printed by TechJeeper. He has done an awesome thing. I've thrown together the little GIF here of all the different rainbow gradients on a belt printer. And for those that haven't watched the show in the last couple weeks, belt printers do at an angle. It's like a 45-degree angle, I believe, as they lay down the layers. So therefore, instead of from bottom to top of the gradient going, in the obvious direction, it's going along the print, especially on a long print like this, which makes these snakes, really anything articulating, amazing. So these are awesome prints. If you're trying to check these RAs, they're scrolling through. Again, go head over to Show Off Prints channel on our Discord, and you can check the bigger pictures, and they're just all amazing. They all look like glow in the dark, but they're not. He just he photoshopped so they all have black background. But that one glows. The rest of them, although it looks like they're glowing, even the HTPLA, they are not glow. They are standard rainbow gradients. So awesome prints, and thank you very much, Tech Jeeper, for producing these. Next up, we have Recryptor. Yeah, I think so, right? Recryptor has done the Muscle Bird statue. As per the profile, I think it said it was an inside joke among friends, but I thought it was pretty laughable when I pulled it up. And this is designed by JA2B, which is also Recryptor, on MakerWorld, available to download and print. If you want yourself a flexing pigeon on your desktop, or give it to a friend, whatever you want to use it for, it's available and just a fun little print. And last but not least, we have Prints with Chris, who has come back with the Mouser by PLA and PA, available on their Patreon. If you don't know what this is, I'm sorry that you were never subjected to the amazing thing that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is just one of the bad guys' little minions, and there was lots of them. Little robot, they called them Mousers, but it's iconic. If you've seen it before, you recognize it right away, and use great colors on it. I mean, it turned out amazing. So thank you very much for sharing. And if you have a print that you are proud of, that you just are so sad that it miserably failed, anything, the good, the bad, the ugly, share over at our Show Off Prints channel, and I might share you on the show. It's not always just good prints. Sometimes it's failures, and sometimes it's fun the way that people restructure their failures into a picture. So I love what you guys are sharing. Continue doing so. Always be sure to provide a link if it's available for download, even if behind a paywall. If you're the designer itself, that is okay, as long as you're not spamming. If you're just sharing an actual print you've done and it happens to be your model, great, go ahead and share, but keep that in the Show Off Prints, not in any other channel. That is it. We're going to take a commercial break, and then when we get back, we're going to talk to Mike, known as not Prime Time, but Prime Tower Designs. We'll see you guys here in just a minute.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Holly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
This is Polymax PLA, the toughest PLA in the world, and today we're gonna put that to the test. I printed this very mechanical model, and we're gonna drop it from the 12th floor. You heard me well, the 12th floor. Let's go! Ready for the first drop in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that's crazy! Not even a scratch! Let's go and check it closer. Not even a single scratch. I dropped it again from the 12th floor, and still not a single scratch. Buy your Polymax PLA right now!
Performance may vary depending on usage, individual factors, and external conditions. Individual result may vary, not a guarantee of specific outcome. Consult your professional before use. See website for details and limitations. Use responsibly.
Have you had bad customer service with your filament provider? Have you ever gotten a bad spool and never got a response when you emailed the company? Well, that won't ever happen when you reach out to Polymaker. Some people say that no company cares about you. Wrong. 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 If you never got a response after emailing a company that you've worked with in the past, you may be entitled to better customer service. We at Polymaker pride ourselves on good customer service, and we won't ever keep you waiting for a response. Email us now at support@polymaker.com, and we'll get back to you within 1 business day. We'll fight for you.
And welcome back to the show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the commercials. They will be refreshed one of these days. I promise. At least a new rotation, right? You've seen the same things over and over. But for those that have stayed, thank you. For those that are just getting here just in time, because this is the best part of the show, we are here to meet the next maker. And as I stated earlier, he has done some really awesome models, which we'll talk about kind of the design behind it, because it is more than your normal organic modeling. A little bit of a more technical aspect to it. But rather than me rambling on about it, let's go ahead and welcome in Mike, and also Prime Tower Designs. How's it going, Mike?
Thanks for having me on, Joel. First time doing one of these, so never know what to expect. I did my own live stream once. It was kind of this quirky off the wall thing, but it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on, and I'm happy to have you here. And you know, I'm sure, especially with what you have going on, I'm sure you'll probably either do some more live streams yourself or be asked to be on other live streams, because yeah, you got some cool designs that we're going to talk about.
Well, hopefully. And I'm glad you mentioned Maker chips. So definitely shout out to K2 Kevin. I got mine floating above my head right here.
There you go.
That's a nice thing. If you make one, you can blow them up to the size of your print bed, and then if you're ever on a live stream, you got something.
It's a perfect,
something.
yeah, it's a perfect placement piece.
Get it overlapping or something.
Yeah, I think which we'll talk about a little bit more too. I think you did something special with yours at 3D Printopia last year.
Yeah,
it was a build yourself one, right?
Yeah, so I should have taken out more of the colors. You can see that it's two different pieces that snap together. They're a little hard to separate. And I mean, not that hard, but if I here with this device, there. These are a little tighter. These are tighter, so they don't come apart in my pocket. But it's a mini version of this model, so the tolerances are looser on this. So these kind of you can basically make your own rainbow top. So when you spin them, so here's like an example of an assembled one. Unfortunately, I won't be able to spin it on camera here. But this will make a full rainbow with the 3 colors. So that was kind of like the idea was that the chip was like something people could come and they could pick any 2 colors, and then it would blend into a single color, and that was kind of the mini version, and then they could come and make the full set if they wanted. But my next one for 2026 is the chip is we'll do the full rainbow now. Rainbow, so yep. There will be lots of different palettes that you can use. I think this one I think is all Polymaker colors, I think. So
there you go. If it's not, I might have different sets
different sets.
So many pieces, I'm sure it's hard to remember what was this printed in. I think it's this
blue. I use a lot of the Mars and the Neptune, so that's definitely what the red and the blue is. You can see
excellent colors. So some of the most popular colors, actually. So real quick before we get into any more discussion, is for those that maybe have not come across your models or anything, like other than just the models that you're doing, which we'll talk about, you know, who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so yeah, I'm Mike. I'm pretty new into the design world. I was over. You can probably tell from my shirt here, but a large, no point in hiding it, but a large software manufacturer company in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, we've all used at one point or another.
Yeah,
right?
you might have used them. So I was there for 20 years and just kind of felt that I needed a creative reset. And you hear all the time that like if you do what you're passionate about, the money will follow. I don't know if I believe it. We'll see. Like we're still on this journey. But if at any point after 20 years, I figured let's try it out. And I actually wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but just try new things and see where it leads. So I had gotten I have a beautiful wife and 2 sons, and they both got really into 3D printing at school. So as like a joint birthday present, we got them.
It gives you an excuse to buy more printers.
Exactly. So we got the first one for them, and I really didn't think I'd be using it much. I was just kind of doing, little fidgets for them or whatever they wanted, and some stuff for around the house, like a doorbell cover, various things. But over time, I started finding myself using it more and more, especially when I found that I could easily customize things, and my engineering background applied. And there's so many tools out there, and I didn't realize like how easy it was just with simple I've programmed before clearly, and but just with simple OpenSCAD, what you can do. Like I started customizing for a family event, like instead of like a place card where everyone sits, we did coasters, and they were customized, so it was like your name and your table. And like doing that for 100 people would be tedious, but with OpenSCAD it went super fast. Pretty simple. So that got me into it pretty fast. And then it was just like once I kind of had that like little spark, I just started sharing little things on MakerWorld, and the feedback that I got just kind of kept me going. So there's been no grand plan here. It's just been one just foot by ear, day by day, the last, and one step at a time. And I have no idea what my next project will be. It's always just.
I don't know. It sounds like you had fun with it, and of course, you've already kind of answered my one of my first questions I usually ask. How you got into it, and it was more for the kids, and then you got slowly sucked into it, and then which like you said too, is I think it's one thing to get them, you do the fidgets, you do the toys, you do the common stuff, but once you really start to have the gears turning of oh hey, I need this part for the house, or yes, I can go run to the store, but I can just print it in like 5 minutes. It's just and especially when you're somebody that can design something, that opens up a whole nother world.
Oh yeah. And things that you can't find in the store, like we have these old doorbells from like covers from the 70s, and they don't make that size anymore, but it was all yellowed, so it was like, oh, I just found something and resize it, and perfect. So,
and enough colors and materials out there, so you can do it with the weather resistance, ASA, PETG, whatever you want to throw at it. So that's it's quite awesome. So now is that what you do full time currently? Is just design, and are you
it's been a little over a year now that I've just been again, no big plan, but fullish time, let's just say, right? Increasingly so with the crowdfund. It definitely takes a lot of time.
So now you of course talk like the coasters you did for the family event, some stuff around the house. What did you really start designing once you got into that? Was it just pretty much whatever was needed at the time and just popped it up, or was there anything that you were kind of gearing towards that you enjoyed creating?
I'd say I found my niche with kind of the magical illusion aspect pretty fast. So I started with this remix of this. So I can't do like Blender stuff, right? So I thought at the time this was published in plenty of places as public domain. So I'm like, okay, I'll start with like Lincoln Memorial, right? The most public thing that no one could ever possibly, because I don't want to like deal with like copyright,
Oh yeah, you don't want to.
So I'm like, I'll find something and I'll use that as the basis for an illusion, right? It's a hollow face illusion. It won't show up here this way.
Yeah, but there's the whole.
It looks like it follows you, right?
Yeah, so so cool.
Yeah, so that was like, so I posted it to Reddit. It blew up, and so again, all these people were like, oh, this is awesome. And then someone's like, this is not a public domain model that you're remixing. Like, but there's like 2 places it's posted, and they both say it, but there was another. So like Cody Raskin was the one. So he was really nice about it, and he didn't have a problem with it, but. You really have to be careful out there. Things are mismarked all the time. So, that taught me an early lesson, and so I've been very, very careful ever since. All of my stuff that I do from the ground up that's not a remix is either very simple geometry or we'll say accidental geometry. Like I'm not at the point where it's like I have this really complicated geometry in my head and I'll be able to go into Fusion and make it. And actually, I'm starting to learn some of that from my son. He's been teaching me. He's been learning at school. And I want to bring him on later because he's doing some cool stuff with it. But like, so I'm mostly using simple geometry to highlight kind of just really cool effects.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll just play around. Most of my stuff's just been in OpenSCAD. So when I say accidental geometry, it's just like, I don't, like, I kind of know what I want it to look like, but it's not super particular. So I just play around until I get something that looks cool.
It's not like exact dimensions and this
Yeah,
here,
it's like
here,
I
this
couldn't have
angle.
recreated this like if I wanted to, but just playing around with different tools and extruding and rotations and Minkowski rounding and different things. It's like, okay, that looks cool. I'm just tinkering. And so you can end up with fun stuff, not quite knowing what you're doing.
There you go. No, you just kind of run with it and what feels right. And
and over time, my skills are developing, and so I'm getting more intentional about the designs. But most of what I've done has been applying like a physical effect to basic geometry.
What's crazy too is because a lot of your stuff is like, I guess physics are involved, spinning tops and things like that. So even with that, do you find yourself to where, since you're not always exact measurements and this, that you're just doing several iterations until it balances out right? Just like the top that you held
I mean, I have to iterate. Yeah, I iterate a ton. Like, so here's another one of those like color mix things. This one's a full gradient. So I don't have like a fancy printer, so it has to, every layer is a filament swap on this. Now you can print a whole bunch of them on a plate, so it's not that expensive if you do a bunch at a time.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what this would look like when, so when you spin this, it makes a full rainbow gradient. Maybe if I try to twist it here, you might kind of see. But I didn't know what it would look like. I knew the shape of the top, that I just kind of, it's kind of a classic shape. I just kind of drew that out and then just rotated it around to get the top. But to make the material, I just kind of programmed what should the progression be between red, yellow, and blue. And, and once I had that, it was like 1/2 red, 1/2 blue. And like, okay, let's make it look cool. Let's repeat that around a few times. And so just kind of playing with it until it got to be something that
so now with that, like, of course, because that's a lot of the the illusion of the colors kind of blending because it's spinning fast and just the way that we process it. Do you have any like background, or did you do any even YouTube research on like color theory or anything like that to kind of figure out what works best?
Yeah, so when I was at university, I did minor in psychology, and I worked like for a couple of summers with like a professor of like visual perception. So I have a bit of a background there, and so like a lot of my stuff is just kind of inspired from like classical effects, and then how do I like what can I do with 3D printing that's maybe above what existed in the past.
Oh yeah, and then now that of course to lead up kind of what you're working on and the crowdfunding thing that you've recently started, or well, is it started yet, or it's
the crowdfund for a few days now, so it is live now. So for that, I had just been doing a bunch of random models before. Let's back up a little before the crowdfunding, kind of get into this whole pinhole.
Kind of what led up to it.
Yeah. So that's what I've kind of been doing recently, and so like I had been doing a bunch of random stuff for a bit, and then I'm like, okay, I want kind of my next effect I'm going to focus on. I didn't know what it was going to be, so I'm going to step back for a few days and just really try to be in tune with the world and be like, I'm going to know it when I see it. Like there's going to be something, and I'm going to be like, that's the effect that I want to capture. And so, I mean, I didn't really know if this would happen, but I'm like, let's just try. And so at one point, I'm just like sitting around, and I just see like a rainbow on my wall, because my wife has all these crystals in one room. We call it the rainbow room because of all the crystals. But it shot across the house, and I could see, like the light kind of streaming through, like the dusty windows, and so that made me just think about directionality of light. I mean, obviously we all know light is directional, but like when you think about like the cloud starburst patterns where you really see those rays, like that just it just suddenly clicked at that point, like, hey, I can leverage this in a way. Like at first it was just like, let's make a device that like as you tilt it, certain rays pass through, and you kind of get like shadows that look a little bit animated. But as I started iterating with that, and that was like way too hard, it quickly became self-contained, and that's where I did the fidget spinner. And I can show you here. So there's an LED in it, which is magnetically it's not in that one. It's in this one.
Got too many laying around. Not sure.
Yeah, so let's see if so this is the first one. So you can only see. There we go. It light up when it's in the right position. And so because of that, it's a zoetrope, but that uses the pinholes, because a normal zoetrope where you have the slits, it wouldn't work so well for a miniaturized device, like you'd really have to be like looking up straight at it. But here you can see it from further. So you get an animation there with, I think there's 9 frames of animation on this one. So that started it off.
That's so cool.
And then from there, it was just like, how do I make this more accessible for people? Because like most people aren't going to buy bearings, and then you have to like degrease them for them to spin well. It's a little annoying to assemble.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So I started moving on to tops as a way, like I don't need a bearing with a top. So I did this diamond version, and I even with the diamond have so this has an LED. This one doesn't have an LED, and you spin it like a top, and then you shine a light from above. So this doesn't need any special parts. And so this was kind of like the key to me. Like, okay, I can make cool effects where you don't actually have to buy anything. You can just fully print it. Then everything.
A lot of people like convenience and ease of use.
Yeah, that's what I found. It's like it's good to have both. It's like you want the like once someone uses something and they really like enjoy it and they get committed, like then maybe they would go out and buy some parts and make the improved version of it, right? Yep. But like you gotta get people, like people are just looking for the next print. They don't want to be bothered with having to buy stuff and commit too early. So it's good to have that progression, kind of the entry model and the advanced model.
Now, do you think with the which I haven't been through your entire profile, but do you think with the Maker Labs, or not Maker Labs, the Maker kits, all the Maker stuff in MakerWorld, but now how they have all the parts and you can actually link parts to the models, do you find yourself thinking of doing more projects that way, since now you can easily get the parts and not have to be like, it's this one on Amazon, it's this one on AliExpress. Exactly. You might have, so you find yourself like maybe pre-planning some ideas there, since the projects now are a little more accessible for everybody.
I do tend to use those parts because they're standardized, right? And then it's you can get the tolerances kind of just right, and so I've been using them for a while, and actually these are also, by the way, the same, the starlight colors. And so that's what I have in the photo, and that was my first model that really, I'd say, blew up, and it made it into the Maker Supply store. So there's a kit. I don't know if it's available in the US right now because there's like a big magnet shortage, right? Geopolitics and everything. But usually it's been in there where you can, so these are the magnetically balancing illusions. I guess they're not illusions, but effects that I have. Yeah, so I've been using Maker Supply quite a bit. It's a good way to standardize on parts, and but I like having models again where you have like an upgrade path, and so most of my recent ones have
dip your feet in the water, dip your toes in the water, and like you said, kind of, okay, I like this type of model, I like what this does, then let's do a more complex version. I found myself doing that on many different types of models of like even a smaller version, then okay, it's fun, let's do a bigger version, okay, it's got some parts, okay. Because I avoided stuff for parts for the longest time, because just for like we just talked about is the accessibility of making sure I order the right one. Then if it's only available on AliExpress, or I can get it on Amazon for 10 times the price, no, I don't want to do that. So yeah, I think a lot of us avoided projects, and now too is now to not only have to try to find the person through a Facebook group and a shared post, you can link it right there on your profile. So it's like, oh, download the model, click here to add these to cart, and off to the races.
Yep.
Now with the zootropic stuff, is that something that you've had like a fascination with in the past, or was it more of just that kind of light bulb moment when you had the scene of the light coming to the window? Was there anything else that led to it?
I've always enjoyed kind of the old school effects. I'm actually, if you're on MakerWorld now, you'll see an old world magic contest. They reached out to me a couple weeks ago to see if I'd want to sponsor a contest. So I'm actually giving away my MakerWorld points to inspire more old world magic, things like that. But like a zoetrope is exactly in that bucket of it's like it's really cool. It's like you can get animation without electronics, and we'll kind of get up to my crowdfund where now actually you can get 3D animation, like stereoscopic, like almost like a VR goggle. I mean, I don't want to oversell it. It's not VR, right? But it's a short animation that looks like it's floating in space without any electronics. So using the same principles. So that's where it's kind of gotten up to. But the inspiration for that crowdfund was, for a while I've been like starting to tell some stories with my projects, like kind of a way to set it apart. There's so many models out there, right? And it's like you want more, you want something that like is interesting. There's a little bit of a story behind. So I've been trying to do that for a little while so this is another one of my zoetrope tops. This came out in, I think, September 2025. And so a problem that I had with the earlier ones was all the blurring, like getting a clear animation, right?
Yeah.
I thought, like, actually, is there some way I can actually leverage this blurring to my advantage? And so that was the idea of a hidden message top. So you get lots of little dots that don't look like anything, and then when there's a light inside, or you shine a light from above, there's also that version where you don't need any parts, and you spin it, it all blurs together into a message. So the first story that I was trying to tell with that was actually, I was just trying to rickroll everyone. So the first one was never going to give you up, and very few people ever saw that or caught on. The YouTube video for it, if you go, I mean, it's still on MakerWorld, like, scroll down in the YouTube video, it's in the background, it's playing, like, there's like a down tempo version that Rick Astley did a few years ago, like a piano version of it, and he's singing, and so I used AI to strip out his voice as best I could. So there's still like whisperings of the lyrics.
If you listen just close enough,
I was really trying to rickroll the community, but the problem is, as soon as I released it, everyone's like, "You need it to be customizable so we can do our own messages," and that was tricky, because, like, you can't animate. So all my stuff's an OpenSCAD. But OpenSCAD, you do like one thing at a time. You can't like make an animation. So I've been doing everything.
Just, like, take the text out and put text in. It's not just easy copy and paste.
Yeah. So it was tough to get it into OpenSCAD, but it actually didn't take me very long. But conceptually, because my whole process was different. But once it was in there, then I released that, and so I've had this customizable version that's been the one that's kind of gained attention, and everyone forgot about the Rickroll one. But I wanted to so once I had my next model, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to repeat this mistake. Like, I want to tell a story with it. Like, you can't have a hidden message device that you can only see by printing it and spinning it. You really can't tell what the message is. I mean, I'm sure someone could spend hours and program something that rotates it digitally, but most people aren't going to be able to do that. I don't think I'd be able to. Like, it's actually quite difficult. So yeah, you have to actually use it to find out what it is. And like, there's an opportunity to tell a story with this. So that's what I ended up doing with this crowdfund project. And this is the approach that I've been exploring, is like, okay, can I have like, I like giving away all my models for free as like a core effect version. Like, that's how you can really generate buzz. People love free stuff. But how can I, produce a version that, is sustainable for me? And so that's the idea of like, okay, if I can have the story version, that's the, it's like basically a freemium model.
Yeah, as opposed to a free to a paid, what am I getting for paid? And with models, it's hard to do, hey, I'm going to give you a really generic model here, and then get the actual model that I intended everybody to have for the paid. So there is some ways you have to think outside the box.
Yeah, it's a hard balance, because it's like, if you make your model too generic, no one wants it. So so that's where I feel like, okay, I can do fully customizable versions that are free. But if you want the story experience with like the videos and progression and satisfaction of like, I've unlocked the next chapter. So that's what I'm exploring with the crowdfund. So this is the model that it's built around. I call it a cryptotrope. It started out, again, I wasn't really thinking about like crowdfund when I started with it. Bamboo had reached out to me months ago about like, hey, you should do a crowdfund, but like, I didn't want to just do it for like some random model. It's like, what's the point? But as this came together, I realized it was a good opportunity. But the biggest problem people have with the tops are, I didn't realize like there's such a a variety of skill sets with spinning tops, and some people have no problem. They're like, wow, you solved physics. This thing spins for 3 minutes. It's amazing. And other people are like, I can't get this thing to spin at all. So that's why I went with this, where it's in a cradle now.
It's kind of universal use.
Yep. Once it was this form factor, it didn't have to be small anymore, so I could go big. That allows me to do more interesting animations and effects with it. But a problem that I had was, here, I can kind of show you, get this to light up here. So the early versions of it, all of the perspective on it was, all the pinholes are basically parallel. You can maybe see it.
I just seen it come
light
through
up
for
a little. Yeah. It's hard. Everything's backwards for me.
Just right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm dealing with this backwards. Yeah, so you can kind of get the animation there, and and there's some text, but I'm not set up with the lighting for it. But the problem with the earlier version, since once I went big, was you can only see a little part of it at a time. So I had to actually figure out how to direct the light to a particular viewpoint.
Oh, for
But once I
the
could,
focal point, yeah.
exactly. So my earlier versions didn't do that. This one does, and once that was in place, there's nothing holding me back from doing multiple focal points, and that's where now I can do full 3D animation. So I have other tubes that I'm working on, and it works. I'm just really want to get like the most eye-popping effect, where you get, you look at it and it's like, wow, this is a 3D animation that doesn't require electronics. Now this one does have LEDs, but then there's basically you can just stick a glow stick inside.
Okay.
This is a standard 6-inch glow stick. You get them for like 50 cents each, and they glow pretty bright. And so same idea, where you don't need any.
So now when you're designing those and you get the animations, everything like that, are you limited by size or by shape on like how many, say frames per second that you can do? Like what do you have to increase to get more frames or more detail?
Yeah. So 16 frames is about what I found is kind of the max that I can do. Like, actually my tops were 32. So, but they were very simple animations, very few amount of dots. And so when you have more animations, the pinhole tunnels start overlapping each other. And it's okay when they overlap a little bit, but at some point, then you need supports to print it. And you're not going to carve supports out of every single hole.
Yeah.
So
through every one.
Yeah, so 16 has been kind of the sweet spot here. I can actually share my screen and show you the process for designing these animations if it's interesting.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because I definitely I do not see it.
No, so you want to? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Here, let me
I thought you said, did you see it?
Window. Here we go. Share. All right. So do you see my screen here?
Not yet, but I will here in a moment because I have to add something. It'll be just a second. We do this on the fly. Do video. Nope. Where is it at? I said I could do it really quick, but here I am. There you go. Okay, search, and we're gonna do a new source club cam. Okay, we're gonna add that, and we're gonna do this on stream. Now the question is,
we're pushing the limits of the tech.
Where it is. There we go. Yeah. Why is it not? It's here, but I gotta figure out.
I mean, I can talk about something else if it is.
Oh, there we go. No, I had it on the wrong thing. There we go. Boom. Okay,
can you see it?
Yep. I'm gonna share it right over my face because they got to see me enough anyway. And okay, there we go. Now we should be able to see it pretty good.
You see it here?
Yep.
Okay. So this is just to kind of ground you that each, we'll call them spheres. I have them low poly just to speed things up. So those are your two eyes. This frame it represents the device so I have it hollow so we can actually see through it right now at the object. And so this is a planet that I created out of spheres. The green ones are spheres that both eyes in this current position can see. The blue can only be seen by the right eye, the yellow only by the left eye. And it's not the full planet if I go around because I didn't want it to be a wireframe view where you see behind the planet. So anything that's occluded to both eyes is just not shown here. So this is how it starts, and that's going to be an animation over 16 frames. So I'll just advance it. Right now it's showing one frame. It's showing frame 0. If we show frame 1, you can see it turned a little bit. I don't know how much. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see the slight movement.
All right, so yeah, a little movement. So again, usually you don't want to design animations in OpenSCAD, right? It's maybe not the best tool for animations. So in the past, I've done things elsewhere and brought them in. But for simple animations, it's great at making 3D objects and 3D scenes, and so it's just spinning. So it's actually not too bad for this. So that's kind of how I started out. And then to make this 3D, so I'm gonna change these spheres here into rays that connect to each eye. Let's see there. So there you go. So at this point, and we see each of the rays passes through the device. If it didn't, it wouldn't work. So that's kind of one of the checks to make sure it cleanly goes through. Now, obviously, you can't tell what's going on when it's like a whole mess of rays. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let's not show the material anymore that's passing through, and let's not show the. We can also hide the eyes. Well, we'll keep those. But let's intersect with these rays with this material. So that this is now going to represent the holes that are actually carved into the device. So now we can see there's 2 planets, right? They're a little different, and usually the dot isn't 2 millimeters; it's a little smaller than that. So let's change it. So this is 1 frame of animation, and so now getting a full animation encoded into physical geometry. I'm just gonna do it 16 times. So change it to all frames, and hopefully there we go. So it's a little slow to move around this object. If I fully render it.
Yeah.
I hit the render, unfortunately, and that's going to take about a minute. So we can talk about something else while it's rendering. I had it cached, but I think the cache got destroyed at some point. No, it's finished. All right, great. Now I can move around it. So you can see, so this is 16 frames of animation in geometry, and so this just gets subtracted from the tube, and that's when that tube spins. Yeah, exactly. But it's nuts.
And then also kind of basically subtracts that come out of the model. Then, like everything that we're seeing now, those are the
everything you're seeing now is going to be a hole that's made in the model.
Wow.
So let me change what screen I'm sharing. I think I have to hit stop, and then I'm going to share my slicer.
There you
go. Window demo. I think this is the right one. All right. Let's even make it a little bigger. Can you see my slicer?
There we go. Yep.
All right. So this is it. So I've added it now as a negative part to this tube here. And I think it's already pre-sliced here. So this is what it looks like sliced. I like to show this because as you build up, it's kind of fun. So keep in mind that we have 2 different viewpoints, the left and the right eye. So at the beginning, all of the tubes down here, all the tunnels are facing one direction. They're facing towards both eyes. So here, let me build back up again. So you'll see it looks like they're kind of all flying outwards. But as we get towards the middle, some are going to the left eye and some to the right. So now I don't know what frame rate you get through me sharing my screen, but it looks like, at least to me, it looks like a party. It looks like a party with coming and going. So I didn't expect that, but it's just kind of fun little things that as you deal with geometry that emerge.
So now, did you have to do like many iterations to find out because of course, with it being a smaller void, it shouldn't need supports, but like, did you have to find the sweet spot of like how big that hole can actually be before it starts to be either misshapen by the print effect or, without supports? Like
each little pinhole?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a little, there's some range that you can do. Like in this, they're not all the same size. It's a 3D scene, and so some of the spheres were further away in this galaxy, and so they were smaller. So it was still so I definitely had to dial to get the whole thing. But since then, I've standardized on 0.7 seems to be a good sweet spot. Now, it also depends on how thick you make the right now I have it at 8 millimeter thick walls that it's boring through. So presumably you can make those shorter, but then you would need to make the pinhole tunnels smaller as well. And I think at some point the 3D printer resolution would probably start getting in the way of any sort of precision that you wanted.
What's possible.
This geometry seems to be working pretty well.
No, that's awesome to see, and especially just I think that the process of doing so, rather than obviously you can't just void out holes and hope that you get something, but to use the software of how you've used it for the focal points, the viewpoints, taking all those basically, we'll say light rays and then turning them to subtractions, I think it was actually very cool to see that, because I had no idea how you were doing it, and especially like how do you know that each scene is this angle and as you turn it, but now it makes sense. And I never realized that doing it the 2 eyes, I mean that changes all the whole way the illusion works, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it would work, but when I actually saw it, I was like, oh wow, this really came together. I've never seen a 3D zoetrope that way before. So I was really excited to just release it. Usually, like as soon as I'm done my models, I'm like, how do I get this online? And I usually take a while with the photography and everything, right? I want to tell the story well, but I really held myself back on this one because as I said, I wanted to tell a story, so the story, I'll just kind of give you the idea of this one is that, so it's kind of like an ARG thing. So everything I'm saying on MakerWorld is in character. Everything out. But I'm not, if I was a big company, I would stay in character even here
all
because
the time, yeah.
people might be interested and they'd go and print it. But if I'm just talking mysteriously here, no one's gonna like,
understand it. Like, what?
So I have to be plain, unfortunately. So the idea, the premise is that I was working on a time displacement device, and I've transported myself back to the year 1503. I'm not able to get back to the future without some supplies, and so I need some things from the future. Now, how can I communicate my message to the future? If I just write it down, someone along the way might intercept it, and these have secrets about time travel, and so they're gonna, if they get it too early, my whole timeline's not going to exist. They're going to change my timeline, so I can't do that. So, but I have my 3D printer with me. That came back with me. Like a bunch of stuff in my lab, or my office came back with me. So I have that. So what do? I design a device that you can't read until 3D printing technology is available. And at that point, it's printed and you can decode the message. So it's this idea again that you need to print the device, you need to use the device to see the message. And so that's tied into the story. And so I'm using it as an opportunity to, that's just the premise. There will be 3 chapters of how this whole saga evolves. It's building up to that 3D piece that I was telling you about, but I'm using this idea of perspective in different ways throughout the adventure. So that's what I'm trying.
Very interesting. It's different than what we see with other models and the way they're released. And I mean, if you're 3D printing, you're probably at least somewhat of a sci-fi nerd, and just that short snippet of the story that you just told off of this, just the start of this, I think is very interesting. It's fun. It's like, okay, well, what's the next one? What's coming up next? And it's that cliffhanger. It's just like now we're spoiled with Netflix releasing whole seasons at once because we can just watch it all. But before it was you watch a show, I was like, I gotta wait till next week to know what the heck happened. So
it shouldn't be too long here. You have to wait. Though. It depends how fast your printer is. Most of the time between chapters is just going to be the print time. It's depends how many holes. The more holes you make, the longer it takes. It's a little more complicated geometry. So most are taking about 16 hours. So a little more than an overnight print for the, so not too bad. Very easy prints. But that's where the cliffhanger will be you watching your printer so that you can get the next message. And there's going to be a website so that you enter basically the codes in order to download the next set of content, which is videos and models to tell the next chapter.
That's cool. And then that'll, like you said, just unlock another model, along with the chapter, read it, and just in the end you're living the story. So it's not just reading the story, you're kind of living it.
You're part, you are fundamentally part of the story, helping me return. So it's not just going to be, I'm trying to make it not just like, okay, what's the next one? It has a message. Like I'm trying to make them puzzles. So the first one, that will be more basic, and then there will be puzzles that you have. So same idea, but a little more than just reading something that flashes.
Yep. No, I think that's awesome. And it's got my my gears turning that we're definitely gonna have a conversation outside of this show, because I think what you're doing, especially with the whole storytelling and everything, there's something of a project we started a while ago in Polymaker. I can't talk about because we've never launched it.
I'd love to hear about it.
I think it's got what you're doing is a perfect fit for it, for sure. So we'll
talk later.
Yeah, so we'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, so now with that crowdfunding, is you said it's been live 2 days, so it's available now. Somebody wants to go there.
3 or 4. It was earlier this week, maybe 4 days.
And then on that, they can just go to I have the primetowerdesigns.com page.
You'll see this on Prime Tower Designs, and you click that.
You've probably seen it on the front page because I know I have. So.
Yeah, I've been amazed that they've been like, I've never had anything in that big rectangle on the front, and all of a sudden it's crazy to see my stuff there. They've been really nice about things, and I was very worried with this that people wouldn't get it, and I think it took a little while. It's definitely a bit out there, but
I think
it's hard. Like, where do you start with telling it?
Oh yeah, especially I think it's more with the younger crowd. It's hard to pull them in, especially zoetropes. At my age, I knew what they were. I've seen things. Of course, I don't even know when zoetropes first were created, which I know is way before I was ever born. But I think it's just cool to see that technology as an old tech come to a new tech. But I think is, yeah, like you said, is more of people getting it that don't know what it is or don't understand it, and then printing it, seeing it, then like, oh, wait a second, this is pretty cool. And then plus you said you did make the one where you can do a custom message.
Yeah, so that one, I think at this point it's my most downloaded model. That's this. So you can just go, and I made it. I tried to make it really easy, and I've gotten a lot of feedback that it's like, okay, yeah, you've made it step by step. So like on MakerWorld, there's a customize button, and it pops up. I had to be a little creative about like how do you format pinhole text in a way that you can read, because ultimately it makes that big mess that you saw, the car, the car wash, right? And so it's like you can't just show them that and it's like, I don't know if this is right? So you have to have kind of like different toggles in the parameters to like, okay, we're like in authoring mode versus the rendering mode. But I made it step by step. There's a video that shows you, it's like, here's how you customize it in 2 minutes or less, and it's lots of.
Now, on that customization, is it right now just text only, or can you add? I want to say graphic. I don't know if that's really the term, but like how you did like the Galaxy. Are you able to do that in the customization, or is it right now just text?
This one's pretty much just text. I don't know if you can call it a zoetrope unless it has animation. So I wanted to make sure I did have some animation. So it does have a marquee border around the text, so it looks like like lights that are like just spinning around. And you can turn that on and off with the customization. So that's kind of the limit that I have there. But I am working. The guy who I'm working on the website for the story here. He does all this a lot of parametric design stuff that I've been running into limitations on MakerWorld, because like, this is not stuff that you're supposed to really like. It's a little beyond just the basic stamping a name on something, right? So so I'm looking to him for this other for like future projects, and so I'd love to do like custom versions of this where you can actually like have different sets of animations that you could add on as well. And again, I think with the crowdfund being the story experience, like that's a good split. So you can still get whatever message you want, but it's not going to be the message, the puzzle, the specific cool animation that's tied to the story. So it won't be as immersive, but I do like making as much available as possible.
Yeah, people love customization, whether they go fun with it, funny with it, romantic. You got Valentine's Day, a little romantic message in there could be something fun. So
yeah, for the ornament, I have one of the standard messages that I posted was, "Will you marry me?" And I think like, over 10 people, I'd have to look, have downloaded that one. And I put a comment. It's like, if anyone has proposed with this, please tell me. I want like, that would be a great story to know. I don't know if people are just downloading it for fun. But,
you never know. Yeah, that's especially that's one of those things where I think it would, not that it doesn't pay off that people are just downloading it and supporting you, but to see something like that just be used in such a huge moment in somebody's life, that would be, I would love to see motivating. That. Yeah, of course, the video probably want to make sense if you didn't know what's going on, because it'd be like girl spinning atop and be like, yes, like what is she doing? But no, very cool designs. I know real quick too is you want to get your son on. He said he's working on a couple projects. He's not very old and he's working on projects, which
he's teaching me. Yeah, I'll get him. He's in 9th grade. His name's Eric. Maybe he hears me now, but otherwise
he's waiting for his cue.
Yeah, well, but so he's been learning at school, and again, like for me, for my projects, like I just kind of like learn enough that I need to to complete the project. But I do want to build up my skill set, because that will open things up. But in some ways, that's been helpful to like. It's easy to get like blank page syndrome, right? So like almost having too many tools at my disposal is a little overwhelming. So I've been happy to learn slowly. But now I'm at the point where I think it would be helpful. So I'll just pop out and grab them. Yep. All right. So he has some cool stuff. So he's going to be on MakerWorld soon. He doesn't have an account yet, but we'll show him some of the stuff. Ready? All right.
Has the stream been smooth for everybody? I haven't seen any private messages, so must be going well. Sometimes my stream like hesitates, but I think we're good.
While he's coming in, by the way, if anyone has any connections to like Fireproof Games or any of the other like video game people who do like puzzles and stuff, like that's a group that I think we could
would really appreciate
some cool stuff with. But I don't have any connections. All right, here's Eric.
Hello.
Hello, Eric. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Looks like you got something in your hand. I heard that you got some projects. I've heard you taught your dad some stuff, which is very impressive. So, so what have you been working on there?
So these are my gear train toys that I've been modeling in Fusion. So while my dad does like program based modeling, I do more of like sort of if anyone knows Fusion, more like regular modeling.
I did the weird stuff.
There you go.
So basically this here, it's a simple gear ratio. Each gear, let me show you actually. So this is locked right now. I got this mechanism on top to lock it in place. But each gear is a stacked 2-to-1 ratio gear where
the camera.
Okay.
It's hard. Yeah, it's probably mirrored,
there you go.
So.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that small gear has 20 teeth while the big gear has 40, which doubles the speed every time you add an additional gear. With that, you can make a bunch of other cool stuff because I designed a bunch of like unique gears. But this, as I spin it, the top one gets faster and faster. So this is
a little transmission.
This is 2 to the power of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This should be every time the bottom gear spin once, the top one spins 128 times. So that's the gear ratio there. And so anyway,
now that one, like, did you do that as like a school project, or is this just you're doing for fun?
Just fun. I take enjoyment out of this.
I think in class when you finish the assignments, you're working on these things like.
Yeah.
Extra.
No, that's great, especially at that
They're
age.
passion projects.
Yep.
So just to show some like other arrangements that you can do with these gears. This
was
it gets a little more complicated.
Oh, geez, yeah.
I was toying around with it. This is sort of like a periodic system where these gray wheels on top, they're not actually connected to the rest of the system. So I can spin them and they spin together, but they're not connected to the rest of it. However, when I spin like these bottom gears, it's kind of hard to show what I'm doing, but when I spin these bottom gears, it lifts up. Yeah, sorry. It lifts up the white wheel or white gear
and connects. It's kind of like a starter on a car, the little plunger mechanism. Yeah. And
so you can see every like few times that like, or every time I like spin it a little bit, like the gray gears go. It's a bit hard to spin.
So that's got. I mean, that's got a lot of use cases of what you can do with different projects. Because I mean, you can gear different things up, and a lot of times you have just a standard motor or maybe space. So yeah, I mean, you can get all sorts of movement out of, especially that thing. That you can do. How many gears? It's got what? Probably it's got 12 pegs.
I have a lot of gears.
Yeah, so I think it's a fun way for kids to learn about gears. You can print this and you can just stack them in different ways, and the ratios, and they move up and down. And
well, that's like you say, because then as you stack them, as you're seeing the difference. Okay, it's one thing to know this is a 20 teeth to 40 teeth. What does that do? But to see it, and then when you add another one, seeing what that final gear is moving at is it gives you a lot better idea of how it, like I said, reminds me. I used to work in the car industry of transmissions, of all the gears and how they lock into place, and then how do I get different speeds out of a car? Well, it's not just one gear moving. There's a lot more to it.
And yeah, that was like one of the first sort of ideas I thought you could do with this thing, which is that you could raise a gear, and as you're raising it, it's slow. Well, it transfers from one gear to a faster gear to another gear, right? And then a flywheel piece, which retains the speed, gets faster and faster. And when it reaches the top, it's getting like really fast, and it just keeps going for a while. So that was like one of the ideas I thought you could do with this, and I mean, it works well.
Now, does your school have a robotics team or anything? Are you anything part of any groups like that?
I'm in the engineering club and also the math club. So, but both are up my alley. But like I haven't really joined any robotics clubs. I might look into.
Sounds like you're probably pretty busy as it is, but
yeah.
No, that's awesome. Especially like I said, many props to you. I'm sure your dad, tells you're doing an amazing job. But for being, just in 9th grade and number one fusion, I'm much
awesome.
older than you, and I've touched fusion like twice.
An overwhelming tool.
It's a no go. It's a no go.
Yeah.
So for you to create even anything in it is amazing. But for something, especially too, like I said, it does really have a lot of applications that can be used for. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
I would also like to showcase one other thing, which is
my
awesome. Electric generator. The frame is 3D printed. The wheel is 3D printed, right? Like the red axle, like, and gear thing, right? It has a gear on it, so you could, in theory, mesh it with other gears to like speed it up or like make it easier to spin. Yep. But it didn't turn out as well as I thought. In terms of the gear working.
Hold this?
It's first version, you got plenty of time to make more.
Let's see the generator.
So when I spin this,
ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry, flashing light warning.
Just gave 3 people a seizure. And that's all you designed that, printed it, and put it all together on your own.
I had made one before out of cardboard. It wasn't very durable, but you can see the magnet configuration I have in there, which is it's just a bunch of magnets, and I could,
a lot of magnets.
And with that many magnets, I could spin it very slowly.
On today's economy, that's about $50,000 worth of magnets in that. So you want to take it back.
These days, don't get it too close to the camera, or we'll cut out.
I don't think that would happen. Maybe. But yeah, even if I'm spinning it here, do you mind holding it again? Even if I spin it slowly, you can see
it's still
that the magnets aren't going very fast, but it still is flashing because that's how powerful
pulses it each time. Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Another thing that I'm sure, well, between the gears and the lights and you're halfway to building a 3D printed car. So
I think it's next.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
It might take a bit of time, but yeah, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for sharing. Like I said, I'm always impressed. I was talking to Dad before the show. Is an event I went to last year. Amazed me at how many kids are developing things, designing things, and it's impressive because I was throwing rocks at windows at that age. So, congrats on everything you do, and look forward to seeing some stuff and seeing you up on the MakerWorld front page and battling your dad out on who can get more downloads.
I look forward to joining the community.
Yeah,
there you go.
If anyone has names for his account, we're thinking through that.
There you go. Something fun, mixing 3D printing, and you said his name Eric, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure they can come up with something. Gear. There you go. Well, there's I would ask the community, but sometimes they can go a little off rail, things like that. I'm not a community questions yet, but I did see a mention when you were grabbing your son is just to ask you about being famous. You're on a local news channel.
Famous on local news, yeah. I just say I'm not a person who really seeks the spotlight, but knowing that I'm kind of going off on my own, trying to just find a path. Like I've been pushing myself, let's just say, to do things I wouldn't normally do. And so after releasing various zoetropes and then the ornament one, which I really wanted to make something that felt magical, around the holidays. I'm just like, okay, I should probably find a way to tell my story outside of MakerWorld. So I reached out just as a long shot to local news. Actually, it's 6 ABC if anyone's in Philly. And I was surprised that they bit and brought me into the studio, and we did a whole segment there, and so that was a lot of fun. But I was honestly I was a wreck because it's like I do not like the camera. So like he was so nice, and like I just kept talking, and we're like, I'm just gonna repeat these lines a million times, and you pull out what you need for your segment. So
there you go. Yeah, just edit out what you need, cut this, trim this. But that's how you can thank K2 Kevin for throwing you under the bus on that question, by the way.
Okay.
that's who asked it. But no, that's the thing is I do these streams and I've talked on stages and whatnot, but I've never been like in a studio. So that I think would I don't know. I think I could be fine, but it would be like you said, it would be nerve wracking. It'd be in your head of, am I saying the right thing? Am I saying the same thing over and over? Am I making sense? So, no, that's a cool little side story there. But with that said,
but I'd say that it was an important part of my journey that I didn't realize, because just something about that, like, it gets people around you more excited, and so they started using some of my models more. Let's just say, and from that I could the see how much some struggled with spinning tops, and so that was directly responsible over the holiday break to be like, no, I need to rethink this and to make it super simple.
No, that's awesome. For the community that is watching, if you guys have any questions for Mike here about what he's working on, what he might be working on, about the crowdfund, whatever you want to ask, go ahead and ask away, and once it catches up, we'll ask him some questions before I let him go here. Let's see here. Tell Eric he needs a beard. So Tech Jeeper says, wait, tell Eric. Oh, Eric. I'm like, wait, his name's Mike. Yeah, your son. He said, tell your son that he needs a beard in order to be a 3D printing modeler.
Okay. Well, I think
we have a lot of
for a
Erics
haircut, and so maybe we'll just shift it down.
Just shift it. There you go. Yeah, that's something we found, especially at the events and everything, is especially again with the designers. There's several Eric designers, and they all have beards. It's like it's a rite of passage, I guess. I don't know. Let's see, primetime Eric. Yeah, that's like I said primetime earlier when I was trying to say prime.
And actually, when you said primetime, I'm like, oh, I could tie that to the crowdfund, right? It's like it's perfect because it's like it's me and it's a time adventure, so I should totally. Someone else will take the name now.
Prime Tower is prime time. Okay, that's all you got to say. You heard you can't print a beard. We know you can print a beard. Does anybody have any questions other than the beards? Who's us? Off the rails. Perish to that. Critter 42. Let's see here. Beard printer. I wish I was that smart when I was young. So many wasted years.
Me too.
I say the same thing. So Critter 42 did ask earlier is plans, especially, well, you said you were in Philly, not to dox you, but is you're going to go to 3D Printopia this year?
Yeah, so I went last year. I again have been just pushing myself, so it's like I felt like I had enough designs to
show
have
off
a
stuff.
Table there. So, but now we'll be in Philly, so that's great. Yeah.
Awesome. You're gonna bring Eric along.
I guess
I didn't get a chance to meet you
definitively because I don't know if they'll have me, but if they do.
Like, nah, this guy was horrible last year. He was so mean. Now, do you plan on bringing Eric out too? Is it something that I'm sure something he'd enjoy if he's into 3D printing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was there briefly. He wasn't there the whole weekend this past year in Bel Air, Maryland. But now that it's Philly, we should be able to get
a lot easier. You can drive there and not have to get a hotel, all right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Prime Tower Designs. Okay, some Pez, link that. Thank you. Flexi Beard incoming. Yeah, there's already Tinchel. There's already a Flexi Beard. You guys are still stuck on the beard thing. It's like they're not going to accept you as a modeler in the 3D printing world until you
unless I have a beard. I shouldn't have shaved this morning.
I should have shaved this morning, so let's see here. I want to make sure to do, of course I can only go back so far. My app is horrible. Like the Streamlabs app, when you do multi-stream, so I see Twitch and YouTube at the same time, I can only, if I'm doing, where I can see both of them, I can only scroll up so far and then it clears everything out. But let's see here. I'll say, K2 Kevin was saying the same thing about what Eric was showing off, is it's building up to be a car, which that would be really cool. Yep. Maybe not this 3D Printopia, maybe next 3D Printopia. He just drives there in his own 3D printed little cart.
Or maybe he has a little hamster wheel in it to power it. And
there you go. Or instead of foot pedals, you just have hand cranks that are generating the power for like a battery operated motor.
I bet we could use a 3D printer to power the gears. What do you think? We could program it.
There you go. Yeah, just the steppers are turning. They get a little bit warm, but hey, it would work. Yeah. Let's see here, and then and what I was gonna ask too is I know of course they can go to your profile or they might see the crowdfunding. But what is the crowdfunding project? What is it called?
It's called Cryptotrope and Adventure in Time.
Cryptotrope. There you go. Yeah. A lot of the trope stuff. Now, do you know? I know I mentioned earlier is I know it's been around forever. Of like when the first recorded zoetrope was. I mean, I know it's like
I'm not sure. I don't. They've been around for a while. Definitely before film. but I don't want to give the wrong century, so I'm going to shut my mouth on that one. I just know they're cool. They've been around for a little while.
Yeah, there was actually it was an old school looking one that was 3D printed at Open Source in San Francisco last year.
Oh, yeah?
That was awesome. Like I said, I've seen some in museums and things like that, but it's just it's impressive to see what they do. But then with yours is, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show, is even more impressive because, like I said, I understood how it worked and how you have the tunnels, because it kind of reminded me of the clocks that you see. The people do like the sun clocks to where you know what time it is if it's if you angle it just right. Or
oh
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. But and I knew the idea behind it. You have the sun shining through different angles. But how you designed, like when I first saw your models, like this is cool, but like wait, he's not going in there and modeling each hole. Like how in the heck is he doing it?
The first one, no.
yeah, just dot. Okay, it looks like a shape. Dot. Yeah, but no, it was very cool to see the way that you do it and the way the software kind of works together. Then make a subtract, and in the end, once you get all the stuff, the end part is very simple. It's just here's a 3D model, another 3D model. Here's a subtract.
Exactly,
and
it comes together. So
I make it sound really easy, like I could do something like that.
It's I bet you could. But I've been very impressed in the 3D printing community. There's so many different cool like zoetropes. Like there's ones that people shine lasers, so they're like 3D things, and they shine lasers, and it looks like it's a walking animation, and that's really cool.
Yeah, because the way that it hits the laser line.
Yep. And then there's other fidgets that they're more intricate animations, but you need to view them with like a camera or something, because like they don't have their own shutter, so instead you're using like the shutter of your camera.
Yeah.
So those are cool. For mine, I really wanted something that was naked eye viewable. So they're actually a little harder. You can record them, but you definitely you have to be very careful about setting your camera settings just right. But they're designed for the naked eye.
Yeah. Well, especially top two, like if you I guess if you just put it on a motor, it'd be one thing, but when you spin it, the top typically, unless you're really good at it, it doesn't stand still. It's moving. So
so it kind of flickers in and out a little bit.
Yeah, you're trying to.
That's part of the mysteriousness, though. Seeing the message kind of fading in and out.
Just adds another effect, the intentional effect, right?
Exactly.
Let's see. Bearded Printer did ask, I have a question. How do I grow up to be like Eric if he's younger than me? Yeah, that's a good question, I guess. I don't know how. Well, the crowdfunding, get a time machine, then that's how you do it.
Yeah. You want me to be in character here, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Tough. I'll tell you, it was a challenge to stay in character while delivering crowdfund updates, because how are there crowdfund updates when all these things were designed in 1503? So I actually invented some. So I don't know if I invented. That's probably, these concepts probably exist, but it's my first update is the weirdest update you'll ever see on a crowdfund, which basically explains why the updates are going to look normal, but I think it makes sense. I did this whole thing called causal locking and universes branching, and we're basically in this self-selected universe. So it's what seems like coincidence is the only possibility, because all these other possibilities, the branches could never happen because they had paradoxes in them. And so anyway, you can read it if you're interested.
No, I think that's cool, especially to not only within the story, within the models, but everything associated with the crowdfunding is in character. I think that's very cool, and I can imagine it takes a whole lot of thought process to figure out, like you said, of does this make sense? And it doesn't have to be 100% real science accurate, but does it make sense? Like if I'm reading this, is it believable? But no, that's very neat. But let's see here. I want to make sure. I don't know if that was a question too. Would this be a car? Oh, he was asking somebody else. So real quick, pretty much, I like to end things off with rapid fire questions. The first two questions are the same for every guest. And what I always state too is the first one, it does not have to be a Polymaker product, but the question is, what is your favorite filament color and or surface effect?
I really love the sometimes people call them holographic. I think they're the prismatic plates. And when you combine those with dark shimmery filaments, like the Bamboo Galaxy ones are so I tend to only use them with this effect because they're very dark. But if you use it with like the Bamboo Galaxy purple or the, I think they call it Nebula, it not only do you get that prismatic effect, but you get this really cool shimmeriness that you don't get just on the normal surfaces.
Normal surface.
It still it works well with the others like Starlight as well, but the really dark colors, it
just pops.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go. Now, second question would be, out of all the stuff that you've designed and that you printed, it doesn't have to be your own, and if it is, that's fine also. What is the one print that you are most proud of?
I mean, at the moment, the 3D effect, right? It's like this was just an idea, and then I printed it, and it's like, wow, I got 3D animation. So I'd have to say that's what I'm most proud of at this point. But it's a moving target. Every time I release something, it's like that's my baby. So it's like.
Okay, and then now next question, of course, you said on the one model you kind of had that Easter egg of the Rick roll.
Someone mentioned witchcraft. Sorry, that's witchcraft. Yeah, that's a great
No,
film. That's there. That's a good one. I'd love for Polymaker to make a purple that's like the similar tone, because the witchcraft is purple in some lights, but it's
the sheen that it has.
Yeah, actually, sorry, that's witch is blue, not witchcraft. Witchcraft is lighter.
Witchcraft is more purple, which is blue, darker with a little bit more blue hue to it. Both, beautiful. I would like to see us carry those colors also, because I have both of those spools and I do like them. Believe it or not, I use more than just Polymaker, people.
Okay.
But so of course with your one model, you said you had the Easter egg of Rick Roll and Rick Astley on there. What is your top number one song of all time? It doesn't have to be by Rick Astley, just overall.
Good question. I don't know. I keep coming back to Number 41 by Dave Matthews Band.
Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. Now maybe we'll have the lyrics all into the next design you have. You just spin it and you can have like a karaoke lyrics displayed the whole time.
A lot of lyrics.
Really big. Yeah, really big.
Maybe someday I'll do a giant cryptotrope, but at 16 hours for this size, it's like it would have to be like a week-long print for
find somebody with an Orange Storm Giga. And then the last question is if somebody's looking to have a fun time 3D modeling and also following a story, or just have really cool 3D models they can print that have cool messages, some customizable, where can they find said stuff, and who would you recommend?
Is this something you ask everyone?
Yes. It's usually a self-promotion thing.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of great designers out there. So I mean, you already have a link to my portfolio. All my stuff's on MakerWorld. I'd say the first modeler that I followed was probably RJ Designs with like the pass-through fidgets. I love, so his stuff's great for getting started as well. And there's a lot. I mean, I keep listing people, Josh 3D and Matthew Kim's. I don't know his full name.
Yes, we had him on
you did?
several episodes ago. Yes. Yep.
I'd say when I think I got like third place in a contest at one point, but he reached out to me to congratulate me. He's the only person who did. And he's really busy with his model.
Individual.
He's a class act, and he's been super helpful. Like I asked him so many things, and he's very generous.
Like I said, very, very nice guy. It was a joy having him on the show too, and just really cool stuff. It was the same same with you too. Is I seen your models before I ever talked to you. Like, okay, so then once I kind of put two and two together, like, oh, okay, this is this guy, and of course I think the first thing I seen to his was the game, the pitfall style games, like, and then you go through the models, like, oh, you also were the one to design this and this. And I found the same as when I don't do a whole lot of research when I have guests on, because I want it to just be a raw conversation. I'll peek at profiles and see what you're printing, and it's like, oh, I've seen this one, and I've also seen this one. So it's cool to go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, so of course you have the crowdfunding open. As you said, Prime Tower Designs is going to have all the different sites and links and everything there. But yeah, is there anything that people should watch for other than the crowdfunding, or that's I guess what's the longevity of that? How long is that planned to go?
It's a 45-day. So I think we're at 41 days left for the crowdfund. Yeah, so 41 more days on that. But it will be open after, for late pledges. Like this is one of those things. Like some crowdfunds blow up immediately because it's like all the commercial people who want to sell the models. That's not this, right? Like I do have a commercial option for like if you want like the version without the puzzles, but like that's not the target audience.
You're paying for the experience here.
Yeah, and I don't think, and for that you need word of mouth, and for word of mouth, people have to use it. So this is one of those things where it's like, I think maybe over time, once it's delivered and people, if they enjoy it, we'll get that word of mouth. I'm gonna try to send out, like, seed the community a little bit with some previews as well. So hopefully we can get that word of mouth going.
I mean, feel free to share a link in our Discord too. As long as you're not doing it one after another, I don't consider it spam. It's an awesome project. So no, I enjoy seeing what you're coming out with, and I'm gonna have to follow up more because there's some stuff I missed on that crowdfunding of the updates and everything being in character. So now it's gonna be stuff that I want to pay more attention to.
Thank you. But I just want to be clear, my stuff's definitely not all about the crowdfund. Everything I've released till now has been free, and it's not just all these pinhole zoetrope. So, like, I've certain things pinned, pinned to the front of my page, but go into the 3D model section, and there's some wacky stuff there too. Like I don't know if you ever saw Launchy. You print it in place and it launches the ball straight off the build plate without you touching it as soon as it cools. So, like, I just ran, fun things.
Pretty much whatever you come up with, you dump there, right? You kind of put it there, and
exactly, yeah. It's all there, and
awesome. Well, I greatly appreciate you coming on the show and having your son on the show for a short time there. It's been great getting to know you more, and I will 100% see you at 3D Printopia later this year.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, thank you, Mike. You have a good day.
You too.
And yet another awesome designer, despite not having a beard, as you guys pointed out. But believe it or not, the beard doesn't actually cause any more creativity or intelligence. It's just a look. It's a fad. It's a phase, Mom. No, Mike, just a genuine awesome guy there, doing really cool stuff. Like I said, I know we talked a lot about the Zoetrope stuff, but as he said, he does have many more models than that. So go check them out. See how they might find something fun to print there, something you enjoy, or maybe try something new. And like I said, the cryptic stuff, I like puzzles. So I know you don't want to push the crowdfunding a whole lot. I think it's a really cool idea. And again, I actually learned more about it talking to him. Is the whole in character and everything in character, I think is just a fun aspect. So props to him on that. Go show him some support on the socials, whether it's the crowdfunding, whether it's a free model, or just a comment in one of the posts or profiles that he's doing an awesome job. Make sure to go show some support. Awesome guy. But with that said, real quick, Time and I am awesome in chat. It's going to get you a chance to going to enter you for a chance to win some Polymaker filament. You think after 102 episodes, I'd actually be able to say what I'm trying to say? Nah, it just gets worse with age. It's all the gray hairs pulling all my memory away. But we do have that giveaway going, so type that in there. And while you're typing that in there, make sure to also go check out, we have Polymaker Sean over at Polymaker Labs on TikTok doing tips, tricks, and troubleshooting as the Polymaker scientist, dressed up in the lab coat, doing fun things with a good energy, which also that information is sometimes pulled from, and if it's not pulled from, it's put into our wiki at wiki.polymaker.com. Many things over there. We have profiles over there. We have a lot of stuff for, like, again, tips, tricks, and troubleshooting, whether you're having problems, somebody else is having problems, or even if you just have a question about, this is what I'm printing, what's the best material, it's going to help you. The AI bot's doing pretty good on doing that. It's not 100% yet. It's still learning, but a lot of that information is in there. And of course, if you ever have any questions or concerns, you can always email support@polymaker.com, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. We also have !IPC, and that is in printing color, and also Pezlis Presents over at twitch.tv/Pezlis. One show, of course, showing off our different colors, our different surface effects, and different ways to use those colors, and awesome prints and creative ideas and ways. And then Pezlis Presents is showing off the designers that we are working with to display all of our product and our new product, which is many to come this year. In cool, awesome ways, rather than just always a scientist. We love our scientists, we love our Pavo, but it's not always the best way to showcase some of these colors and the surface effects they carry. So Pezlis is working with designers, finding us more out there that have awesome models that make sense for the filament, and then bringing them on. Sometimes she'll interview them on the stream there, and that's on Saturday or Sunday, and printing colors on Wednesday. But then also, if she's not doing an interview, she might be going through the profile of one of the designers we are partnering with. So a lot of cool stuff coming, a lot of work to be done. I know people have asked about stock. If you missed the feedback hour with Sean, stock is coming. Actually, some of the stuff actually restocked this morning. If you haven't checked, you better grab it now. But we do have a lot more coming. We have a new transition with logistics and things like that. So a lot of awesome upgrades that have just kind of slowed a few parts down. But your filament's coming. I promise your filament's coming. And there's even more new filaments coming. So I guess if you are waiting to buy some stuff to come in stock, just keep saving up that money because there's going to be new stuff to buy too. But with that said, we're going to go over to giveaway. That's not at all what it's supposed to be. Let's boom. Okay, there we go. We're going to do that. This. There's the right one. Now, real quick, while you guys enter for your last chance here, we are going to rate out to somebody. I need to look into the rating on YouTube too, but I don't know how that works on Streamlabs of rating two different places. What do we got here? Well, let's make sure. I think last time this audio wasn't. So, if you enjoy people interviewing other people, talking shop, and all that good stuff, then you'll enjoy going to Asylum Life Makes. I'm going to rate out to him after this drawing. There we go. Cool. It's there. So, giving you plenty of chance to enter. Hopefully you have. I am awesome in chat. You got until I drink the rest of this water, which isn't much, to get it in there, and then we'll do a drawing. Draw. And exclamation point contact in chat. That is going to give you my email. If you are a winner, email me there or message me over on discord.polymaker.com. Harold Poulcher, I don't even have to tell you. You know how to claim this. You know how to reach out to me. Shoot me a DM, buddy. We will get you your filament as quickly as possible. So thank you all for all your support. Thank you for coming to the show. Next week, we have on Bruno from STL Flicks. And then again, I think it's the following week, we'll have Mateo from My Mini Factory, now also Thingiverse. So lots of cool guests coming, many more to come after that. Many new events coming. I'll keep you, up to snuff on any live events we may be doing. But thank you all for coming. We're going to rate out and show our support over to Asylum Life Makes. Tell them Polymaker said hello. Have a great night, a great weekend, and a great week. We will see you next week.